This morning I'm taking you guys walking with me. Most days I get out and I do something in the morning. It's already like about 8:30 in the morning. It's Friday, but we're at Expo Park in Aurora, Colorado. It's near where we're doing our house sit, and we're almost done. We got about 3 or 4 more days before we take off on our next camping run. But I wanted to bring y'all out, show y'all the park, take y'all for a walk. It's gonna be it's a pretty long trail around this lake. It goes all the way around this lake here and up. And it's a really nice park. They got a lot of frisbee golf things set up here. It's like a full course of frisbee golf, and they do tournaments and stuff here on the weekend. They've got all kinds of birds and stuff in that pond. Sometimes you'll see the Canadian snow geese come flying in. Maybe we'll get lucky today and get to see some flying into formation. Lots of grasshoppers. I gotta try to be careful. I don't want to step on any, because living in Colorado, a grasshopper probably doesn't have a very long life cycle. They got a lot of work to do before it starts getting cold. I don't want to interfere with it. So I have been running some since I've been in Colorado. We've been here a couple of weeks now. I like to run here because these paths and parks are pretty safe versus running down the roads where I'm from, because our town is not fitness friendly at all. And I like this park. It's close to my house. I think it's about 2 miles around it. I measured it last year on Google Maps, but I don't have that information anymore, and I haven't bothered this year because I really don't care. I just get out for the activity because you want to be active. Sorry, I had to adjust the camera a little bit so you can get a little bit better view. So, being active is important. Getting sunlight is important. I'm not really trying to show off my physique. It has a long way to go. I'm almost 50 years old though, so I am proud of my body's ability to retain some muscle mass, but I could do better. But getting vitamin D is important. And right now in Colorado, it's very mild temperatures compared to where I'm from. I've been watching the forecast back home. It's like over 105 degrees or so. So I forget, because the last few years we've been traveling. I haven't spent much time in Texas in the summertime. And I'm grateful for that, because it's brutal, and having a nomadic lifestyle definitely allows you to kind of migrate around the globe with the seasons, and the benefits of that are not lost on me for sure. So vitamin D, very important. Walking, very important. And even no matter what your age, no matter your physical health, unless you're just absolutely not able to walk, I recommend walking. I even walked around our little town back home before we got out here, because if you don't do something, your body will start to punish you. And I think for the last few years I really neglected myself, and I did it all in the name of having children. And I started having some major health problems back this past winter and spring, and now I got to try to get all that stuff going back the other direction. And this is part of that journey. Good morning. This is part of the journey. Part of that journey is being active. And in a place like this, it's easy. It's easy to be active. I've tried to get our community back home to do stuff like this. I tried for 9 years to get the school to put in pull-up bars at the football field where everybody goes to walk, because we do have a 400-meter track that some people do walk on. And I had the conversation with the superintendent there 9 years in a row, and 9 times they rejected it. And I was even willing to pay. How much space does a pull-up bar take? I was willing to pay for the material, design it. All they had to do was approve it. Could have been put back out of the way so it wouldn't have been interfered. And if you go to most schools, most high schools, most parks have some kind of fitness apparatus. One thing about Expo Park, where I'm at now, is they don't have any fitness apparatus. It's a huge park, as you can see, but I don't know why they don't have a fitness park. But a lot of the parks around Denver don't. There's only one that I found. It's Nome Park, and we haven't even been there this year. It has some really old, crappy equipment, but it does have a pull-up bar, and that's helpful. But back to home. So what the lady told me was that I was the only one that wanted one, and it wasn't part of their it wasn't part of their workout program for their high school athletes. And I couldn't believe it. So I mean, just think about that. So I'm only one person, I guess, and I guess I don't really qualify as a person back home. But because I'm the only one that wanted a pull-up bar, they refused because I was the one that wanted it. Not because it was in the best interest of the community, or perhaps people walking by see a pull-up bar and they go, I wonder if I can knock out some pull-ups. I used to be able to do them really good when I was in high school or when I was in college. And sometimes people don't know that they should be trying body weight exercises unless they have something in front of them. But the minute a man goes and tries to pull himself up on a bar and realizes he can't do it anymore, it might motivate him a little bit better. So, you know, places like this that have infrastructure in place is always a blessing, because when you come from a place like I do, where I come from, you can't get anybody to do anything. Everybody works against each other. It's terrible. I hate it. But it's inexpensive to live there, and I own a house. I own my house. So that's really my only motivation for staying. And I haven't found anywhere else in the world that's better across the board, other than like activity like this. I like doing this type of stuff. But to live in Colorado, shit, you have to be a millionaire. And right now, I'm probably one of the poorest people on the planet as far as finances go. And I'm okay with that because I've learned how to manage it. And in spite of my financial situation, I do a lot more than most. So I'm good with that. But fitness, man, is so important, and supplementation. I'm not even really trying to work on my diet at this point because it's almost impossible while we're traveling, because we don't have refrigeration, and then food are probably one of our biggest expenses, to be honest with you. We probably spend more money on food than we spend on anything else. Oh man, there's a lawnmower over here. God dang, he's gonna mess up my video. But I want to walk. I guess if I cut that off, it won't matter. It won't matter if I cut off that piece of the walk. If I walk by that lawnmower, the wind is probably already bad enough, and I'm sorry for that. I'm thinking about buying a microphone, but I really don't want to deal with a bunch of equipment. So if I walk by that guy on that mower, it's going to really overpower the mic. They got a baseball field here, baseball diamond. Pretty cool park, huh? And so, since I've been here, I've gotten up to be, I've ran around this thing one time without stopping, and that was more mental than anything, because I can, you know, fluctuate the intensity of my running. And even using the word running is probably not accurate. It's more like jogging. So I can speed up and slow down. know, here comes a guy on the lawnmower. He probably saw me turn, and he's like, I'm gonna mess up his video, whether he wants me to or not. I don't like douchebags, man. I like people who have self-awareness. They're aware of the space around them, and then they respect other people. Like this guy, he's gonna get right in front of me and start mowing. He's gonna screw up my video. Douchebag, man. So I apologize. Let me get past this guy. Right there. He's not doing nothing. Look at that. I intentionally tried to go out of the way, so I wouldn't interfere with him and I could have a clean video. And he shut down his mowing deck and raced around and got in front of me. That's what's wrong with the world. Whether he did it intentionally or not, he wasn't self-aware, he's not self-governing, and he's not respecting the people around him with his mower. He's gonna be here all day mowing grass. But whatever. Alright, so do fitness, get out, walk, do push-ups, pull-ups, squats. The reason I'm not running today is because my knees and ankles and stuff are still getting pretty bruised up a little bit from the running. So I have to take, you know, every other day off, and that's still not enough to heal 100%. But if you overdo it early on, you'll just tear too much tissue. And slow, small gains are better in the big picture. Plus, once we leave Aurora, I don't know if I'll be rerunning. Depends on the circumstances of where we find ourselves. We'll be hiking a lot. We'll be walking a million miles, but I may not be in a situation where I want to run. It'll depend on the parks, it'll depend on the temperature, it'll depend on the arrangements. I don't like going off leaving the kids, you know, too far. I don't like being too far away from them. So that'll probably change. When I get back home, I probably won't run unless I go to the track, and that's a pain in the butt because of the dealing with taking the car and yada yada yada. So whatever. But anyway, a little bit of running is nice. Plus, you know, you get to recover and heal, get some sunlight. I'm starting to get the hang of using this selfie stick. It's not bothering me as much to be doing it. There's the visitor center, I guess. I don't know, recreation center, but they don't do much there. I was hoping they had a weight room in there, because that's one thing I don't really get to do, and I wish I could do, is lift weights, do strength training, but it's just not possible. I can't carry a bunch of equipment around with me, and I can't pay for day fees to gyms. And I've thought about getting an Anytime Fitness membership, but the kids are not old enough, and I don't want to leave them sitting in the car while I go into the gym for an hour or two every once in a while. So just where we're at in our journey. But anyway, yeah, so you gotta take some supplements. I'm taking lots of supplements. I'll go through that at some point. Some have been definitely working because I stop taking them sometimes when I run out, and I can see the effects. And as soon as I start taking them again, I see the benefits. Magnesium being one that is definitely the one that I need. So take supplements, get out, exercise, get some sunlight, and avoid the douchebags, because the world's full of them right now, man. So this is still, we might be halfway around this thing. So now we're over here, we're pretty far away from the pond. Just walking along this road. There's a school back there. But there are tons of other walking paths that cut through. I'm gonna do 2 laps around this thing today for my walk. But yeah, this is what I do every day. I love it. When we get out to our parks and stuff, we'll do lots of hiking. So I'll get lots of walking in without having to set aside time for doing it. What are we at right now? I don't even know how long it takes me to walk around this thing. I don't even time myself. I know one thing though, this damn selfie stick gets heavy having a phone. Even my phone being on the end of this thing starts to make my arms tired. All right, so purpose of my YouTube channel. I want to kind of like talk about my YouTube channel, and I want to do it now. I think I've done it in the past. I want to kind of just do a reminder, refresher, update. I've learned a lot. I've been doing this YouTube channel thing now for over a year, probably 2 years now, since I started uploading videos in Colombia. Almost 2 years. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm spitting a lot today. But so the purpose of my YouTube channel has kind of evolved, but the beginning purpose of it was just to store my video as a backup to my Google Cloud, because I do have a Google Cloud, but we have gotten to about 2 terabytes of video and pictures because we've been traveling for so long, and the free Google storage only lets you store like 2 gigabytes or something like that. And if you don't know, it takes 1,000 gigabytes to make 1 terabyte. So the free storage became inadequate long ago. So I had to start paying. And for the longest time, the 2 terabytes was sufficient. And that was like $10 a month. But we've already gotten to the threshold of that. And so now I pay for 5 terabytes a month, which is like $25 a month. That's one of our expenses. And I would like to think that if anything were to happen to me, that someone in our family would be a good steward and keep up with the account, because as soon as we stop paying for that monthly subscription, all of that data is going to be lost. But unfortunately, nobody has demonstrated the ability to take care of things. We've left things with people, keepsakes, like hand-stitched blankets my grandmother made, we left, and some of our family used it as a blanket for their dogs and they tore it up. We left a skateboard, my son's skateboard, with other family members, and we tried to get it when we got back this trip, because we were going to bring it, because you can see this sidewalk is pretty good for skateboarding, and the skateboard's gone. So people don't respect that type of stuff in general. And until my children are old enough, like right now my son's almost 12, but he's not, he could probably remember passwords, but he might not. He's not going to be uploading and taking videos and photos for a while probably. So, good morning. So he's probably not capable of, administrating it. So with that in mind, and the answers I get when I get kind of pissy about people tearing our stuff up or losing our stuff, and we're not leaving housefuls of furniture and animals for people to take care of. These are just hand select items that would be good hand-me-downs to my children when they're adults, family keepsakes. But their answer is, well, you shouldn't leave it with us. What do you expect? And I agree. So it's 100% my fault, but that still doesn't remove the need for an administrator. I've thought about creating a trust, and I probably will, and put a lot of this stuff into a trust, but you still need someone to manage the trust. You still need an administrator. And so far, we've just struck out on people even being able to keep a skateboard or a blanket. So YouTube's a good alternative to that. We also have a Brighteon and a BitChute account, but I have not started uploading video to there. I've tried on Brighteon, but it doesn't flow as well as YouTube. So I haven't, because it's a whole thing. But anyway, this whole YouTube channel is primarily a way for me to preserve all of these memories for my children. The fact that it became monetized was not really intentional. The idea of making extra money, and I've talked about this before, is always welcome, but I'm totally opposed to the idea of putting in 40 hours a week editing videos and trying to trick the algorithm and getting frustrated with wondering what the algorithm wants today. Is it my thumbnail? Is it my title? Is it, my hook is not good enough? All that shit. I don't want to deal with that crap. I don't care. I'm grateful for the people who have subscribed. I'm grateful for the people who are consistent. There's only like 3 or 4 people who watch our videos consistently, and that's fine with me, and I'm grateful for you guys. But that's not the end of what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to record, just like when I was a kid. I think everybody in my family had a huge box of photos that they kind of lugged around with them wherever they ended up. And sometimes we would drag out that box of photos and go through them. Oh, here are the geese. Are they flying? Oh, they're flying low though. I don't know if you can see them. Watch, they're gonna go between those trees. I don't know if they're gonna get some altitude. We'll see them over here. They're gonna go over to this other side over here. We'll probably get to walk through the flock. But anyway, yeah, they used to drag those photos around. We'd get it out every once in a while and dig through them, and it was cool. You'd have some shit from way back, like you didn't even know who these people were, black and white photos, and then photos of your childhood and yada yada yada. Well, that's not practical today. I mean, with digital technology, it's easier just to, because I've got, last time I looked at the count, well over 30,000 videos and photos, and on this trip we'll probably get closer to 40,000. So I don't want a box of 40,000 pictures. So YouTube's a good backup. So that's primary, and I don't want to do the work. When we were in Colombia, God bless them, I love these people, Martin and Anya. If y'all ever watch this, I love you guys. It's not criticism, it's just watching you guys and how much work y'all put into y'all's YouTube channel. I don't want to do that. It's not how I want to spend my time, and I'm just upfront and honest about it. So what I want to do is I just want to shoot raw video and upload it to my YouTube channel. And if it someday does something or goes in a direction that's beneficial, then we'll address that as we get there. But as of me recording this video, it's not something that I want to put a lot of effort into. Now, I have learned how to do thumbnails, and some of my videos I do put thumbnails on them. I have learned how to use video editors. I've understand the concept of scripting and etc., etc. But again, it turns into a job, and as in my lifestyle is a job. And anytime that I'm not out doing this type of stuff, then I don't necessarily just want to be sitting on my phone, trying to deal with the software that is difficult. I don't have money to hire somebody. I don't have money to invest in a lot into videos. I put a lot of money into this endeavor, especially early on. I've hired a couple of different people to try to help me, but it doesn't return anything. It's just me pouring money into it. I don't pay for any software. I don't do any upgrades. So CapCut, Canva, ChatGPT, all the stuff that I use, I just use the free versions. and I don't even use it all the time. We'll see where it goes. But the thing that I would like to get out of this is that I would like to inspire single parents, specifically single men that have children and struggle with that, because society does not reward men for having children. Society hates it. But society's breaking down because of the lack of fathers and role models in people's lives. And my children thrive with the lifestyle we have. And even before we became, this nomadic world traveling family, my children were very happy with our lifestyle. I worked really hard to provide for my children. I've neglected myself in a lot of ways to put my children forward. And a lot of that comes from my own story, which maybe someday I'll share. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your story until you're successful. And everybody wants to know your story, and I'll tell that story someday. But basically, I have to overcompensate because I didn't have functional parents, and I still don't. I'm almost 50 years old, and my parents have never done the self-work they need to do to try to just be good participants in our lives. And I refuse to accept it as that's just the way things are, even though that's the way things are.